and miracles and pregnancy and all that. So for 5 years, she was pregnant. But did it happen? Is that just a miracle? Or perhaps medical science has a way to explain what happened. Let's watch this put together by Bridget Otu.
Everybody said, "Oh, GD said 1 year for 5 years."
But you say about be a fire phone, Fitiasi, and notice at the end, and I'm why I say, Gentlemen, I'm the police hospital. I say, the call police hospital. No, Monsieur, almost share me. I'm a mammy in blue, and also mean your lap, in question. No, see, insane. Me got to us, better 3 months, no, mammy, about 1 month. After 3 months in a China fiddy. Or mammy, quiet stand, lab, be a few seen it over 3 months nature after me call 1 day. Or see me in some quiet lab, I will sue. Next month be me call no catch me say, or pursue quiet me operation. Hospital home, or see a pursue quiet me operation to me friend me pastor back. When I made it 2 no sue. Or no sue who. Now face see us you or quiet operation, then or quacky. Mammy bra, why would you not be quacky? And I didn't say soon more dear. Police hospital in Cobium. To me call for a clinic, no mammy child stand. Mamma be here. Oh, mammy child stand. No, monsieur, no mammy list. I mean, found to talk Palania Mania there. I must make call to us so better 3 months. Most of me call a museum moon. Let me see. I day. I know you. Be the Mindiana me met if you near Mompie. Tim Pie Bona. Anyway, Cassie Uncle.
We have only by year, Cassie.
Only by year, Cassie. E do terebia na sa sofo ne nsam wode ana sanya me anointi wono so a ye funti me gina so a ma me amete akwala ne nka e do terebi so a meda ade be chin na ye funa bafom nsi ewrade adan nti baby a mekọ no be ka kire me say fibroid me ba be da no me so dan me so dan say ma wo be ma e na ase de ase akwala ne ya kekere no nsi enhwe de nyame be ye
ti se 9 months ni stu yan wa wo
ama wo nti the see ano e ko be 5 years ni mu ti be 2 years mu na me be betra ha ti e betra ha nti one day me ko okuru ba na me ba ne ka kire me say sister ba kwa ye no say wo ma me anye ma che na wo ma me wo this year ya no sofo bi be fa me no so o de me ko me kurum no so ma me ewu me papa ewu but me grandmother de wo no so person de me kokoro bo no ko sa e fom anya no de ya de ma na me ni mo gidi so me ma yanko no so
yes period in air costume he na uncle because we kasa uko ha uko pastor asori ba ko na uncle ya na say uko pastor baby o he first
ni de say me see me you am na ma kire o de a en ya bebre more than 20 en the
pastors ni na o ka
no kure obi wo ha me ko ne nchen ya no abom pan no ama me anointi wo ye nom anafa habai we dwale nyame be mo wawo me see you obi so wo ha me ko no si fibroid obi so wo te me ka kire me say akwala no ejina wo nchen bia me bompa ya kana hye oyefun me hu sa ba mu agina wo nchen nsi you no wa bompa ya ma me na maba o bompa ya na me ba me ti se o ka ne ho gidigidi e bia bedu 3 days no nsante ne nka biom obi a be kire me ha na ma forso a na makọ
gidi se pastors yo mo okay so monye doctors ni ali so me dey hu se nimpa fibroid ana se bi se aboa mo gidi se no kwe no mo ka kire wo de
bebre wo ho aya me gidi e fi se me ankasa bu wo ho a meda no na nyame abeyi bibia kire me nyame abeso me dai se bia se de me kọ ne nchen na obeka se fibroid a meda na me so dai no na ma so dai se ma wo ama kwala na nyi
fashion say anointing oil ene me hu se oil ni nkutuni ade omo de ma se fire den
okay ebu ade mamia no si me fansra me fuso bu ade mamia o si fasra we fuso e bia anointing oil na se we say no no si eya me fansra me yefo no so na me so you we say me call ye no Ghana hat TV Joshua me call ma me we
onu Ghana TV Joshua
owo doko me call ma me ensa e na afi so me ba peni no e wie school no na papa no so na mo mpeso mbeboa nti me de ono so kan ho e call ye se obetimi aboa ama ebusiafo no aboa me amanya hwa akona ama na call ye ses
for last 3 years I be mo wanyi
e se ade me de me ho be ma anya me betra ase se nya me beboa me sad ko di e wo ye fon no mo nyame ma ne nsa so na obi ehu yankopon ekese ye sa na afi de betra ase be ye enti no so be ma bi be hu me kura na obese me pa e bia etesen ye we bia ye mpi o we bia ichiri anase me mpese me ne de pa no be ye bibia
fact me hwe na me se me hu nyense no ti oba clinic so still na me hu or yes science said ya or fe or ye bibia to be me to me admit no e man e drip no me ade but still no so me hu abofra ni nyin wo mu nti pass yi no jaye kura nti
2-3 years ago no jaye so
jaye nti ko baby fofo nti wo ma na me frɛ ne ba ko bi no si o se me kan se mi hu ni nti no o ye edru nti obeba ti be se last month no e na obae nti
obae net se
obae na me hwe nde na ye funu still na ye funu gina ho se ne ya first na gina but we de me hwe ne de na abofra hye mu ma nti we de me ka chance you we de enyinse eti no onko scan na ye nyina ye hu na we do term mpo
first time no buy no o ka chere say won ho hwe no o mani scan my own
mani scan
na den hu
me mani scan no so men stay say fibroid almost fibroid kit we bi but no to me ye nti me chere ne say on the on to aswa no edru no na nyinsen ya ebeyi ne hu edi
na uchiti se wanyem for 5 years ni
anu say 5 years ni se oba ha ne kra na o se 2 years ekura ya twam oda so enyem but me no me hu hwe o se okwa asori a o se oda ne sisi mu oda ne sei Timi no yen hospital ne de ni man sa abofra na enyem oba beto ye funu mo ne ye hu no na ya je na wo de said the oka said that the system we da ne ha da ne ha me de me hwe ye funu na de ese me hu ne sa.
Have cases where women who are really anxious to be pregnant, they can have all the feelings in pregnancy, what we call the phantom pregnancy. They feel the tummy is becoming bigger. They feel movements. That's because they put it in their heads that they are pregnant, but they are not pregnant.
I've spoken to a woman who believed that she has been pregnant for about 5 years. She said, there were times she felt heavy, and says, the stomach will become big, and the stomach will become small, and all of that. So you were saying all of that is in the mind. You don't believe that it's spiritual? Because she said at some point that it was spiritual because she can feel that the baby is moving. I mean, does that work?
It's very, very difficult for me to say anything about spiritual because I am a medical man, and I deal with medical issues. The spiritual cases are with the pastors and priests. Most probably, the patient or the woman may have been in the pre-menopause. Pre-menopause, the menses or the period doesn't come monthly. She may have missed about 2-3 months, but then becomes pregnant in the 4th month. So that the time that the period has not come, she might be believing that she was pregnant.
What does age have to do with all this?
The age, as I said, is the pre-menopause. The pre-menopause, the menses doesn't come every month. It can skip 1 month or 2 months or 3 months and then come again. So that if, let's say, 3 months have passed and she has not been pregnant, maybe the 4th month she becomes pregnant, but we believe that the 3 months that have passed might be counted with the time that she has become pregnant. If you want to be pregnant, there are specialists who deal with pregnancies. Now go to them, let them find out what you have or you don't have. Now, if they tell you maybe you have fibroids or you have this or you have that, it can be corrected. And then you can depend on your spiritual feelings and have pastors deal with you. But the best persons to go to are obstetrician gynecologists to find.
All right, so you're welcome back, and you heard that. I think it's a remarkable story, though it's not the first of its kind that I've heard about. I've heard about women who claimed to have been pregnant for a couple of years, certainly more than the 9 months they're supposed to be carrying, to term. And so, yes, good question. Bridget is asking, miracle or phantom pregnancy? What do you think? I believe in miracles, and so it's hard for me to call this a phantom pregnancy.
I know of a man in a village around the central region who was called Papa Acher. Okay, Papa Acher. Infante, when you say Acher, literally means you have kept long.
So you're late?
Yes.
Okay.
No, so we're told that he spent almost 16 months in his mother's womb. So the name Acher.
Yeah.
So as to whether it's a phantom pregnancy or a miracle, for me, if we want to go by what medical science says, that 9 months you need to come out, then we'll talk about miracle. And of course, they happen every now and then. I have always said that when you get out of your home and you put your key into your ignition and you start your car and it gets to your office, that's a miracle.
Indeed.
Because that's a machine and it could break down or perhaps get into trouble even on the road. So miracles can happen. They do happen, and I'm sure they're still happening.
So in this case, which takes dominance over the other, medical science or?
I think this is a miracle.
This is a miracle.
It's a miracle dominates medical science. I mean, what medical science sometimes says, when you try to sit down and think about it, really, I find it hard to understand.
Science has been known to fail man every now and then.
How can you convince me that two liquids come together to create a physical thing?
Right.
I mean,
that's definitely a miraculous.
I think there's a miracle in there, but medical science has tried hard to explain how it works, but I can't follow the processes through which babies are formed, except all I know is that two liquids come together.
But even in that case, even in that regular case, a woman who has taken seed, a woman who has conceived would go to have a scan, and then there's something that shows, there's something that suggests that indeed she is carrying, a child in her uterus. But this is a case where a woman believes to be carrying 5 years, and she goes and she always, conducts a scan, and there's nothing. Sometimes you see a question, you see simu, a question, that's the part that baffles me, because even where there's a miracle, well, science must attest to it.
Right. You should be able to detect that it is.
That's why when people are healed of their diseases, they go back to the hospital, they do a test, and it shows. I know someone who was HIV positive. Right. And then got healed miraculously, and now she's free of all the virus, of any virus, So, but there's a test to attest to that, to show that. But especially in this case where she's pregnant and nothing shows except what she feels, inside of her. That's just baffling.
So at least, even if it's not in the womb, it should be outside the womb, and the scan should have detected
something. Should have detected
ectopic pregnancy.
For instance.
But in this case, there was nothing.
In this case, there was nothing. That's
a miracle.
Yes, that's the baffling part. So, but I like that she would rather say it's a miracle. She wouldn't call it a phantom pregnancy, that it's a miracle. So